Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about Warlocks as a class and what's its role it's supposed to fit in Hellfire Citadel. So why don't we just get right into it? So the first boss is Hellfire Assault. On Mythic and Heroic it's pretty easy. It's really simple. But primarily it's about killing ads. It's like enhanced ads really, but in Mythic it's one difference, and you split up your groups into two and then you attack and kill stuff. Personally, you can use any spec here really. I will only use Affliction though, because I believe Affliction is the most fun spec for me and is what I will continue to use. The best to use there is probably Soulburn Haunt and Sacrifice, and that's what I believe, and the rest are always the same for me, and there's no difference in there really. Is there any biz that drops some Hellfire Assault? The answer is no, there's nothing biz that drops them here. Iron Reaver. Here you can play Destruction or Affliction. Demo is not really viable if you don't want to have, high logs with Demo, if you can pull it off. But Affliction and Destruction works really well here. They're both fine, really. And once he is in the air phase, you want to dot a lot of the bombs as fast as possible, and you would like to try to drain soul snipe some of the bombs to get extra soul shards, which you can use later on for more haunts, etc. And for destruction you want to soul burn as many as you can, or shadowburn, sorry, shadowburn. You want to shadowburn as many as you can, havoc as many as you can. Biz-wise, he drops Iron Reaver trinket, Iron Reaver piston, and it's best in slot for Affliction Warlocks. Kormrok. This boss, Iron Reaver, Soulburn, Sacrifice again. Kormrok. This guy, overall, if you want to sheath the meters and really get high logs, you want to use Demo on it. And actually use the tier 17 for extra chaos waves. But other than that, if you just want to progress on it, you should probably use Destruction. Destruction is really well designed for this boss because you can Shard Remains, Chaos Bolt, AoE, the hands to pop up. But Affliction is totally fine too if you want to. It's just not as good as Destruction could be. Does this guy drop anything? Biz. He drops the Helm. It's Biz. And anything else? Nope, not that I can remember. Hellfire Council. This is definitely an Affliction fight. All of the clear fights in Hellfire Citadel is pretty much an Affliction fight, but this boss is really good with Affliction because you can easily cleave all of them down and have a lot of DPS. For this boss you want to use Supremacy and use Observer or Fel. Doesn't really matter, they do about the same DPS. This boss drops Biz, Shadow Boon Insignia. This is so good for Affliction. It's extremely good. Gives you Mastery, which is always good for Affliction, and also Destruction. But Intellect proc for 20 seconds, and he has PPM on 1, so it's extremely good. Kilrogg. This boss, again, you can use Affliction or Destruction. Destruction is a lot more, I'd say, easier to play on this boss because you can easily snipe ads and the bloods using Havoc, and you can also Shadowburn. The Affliction is pretty fun to play. You can usually dot up a lot, but if you're assigned to go inside, Destruction is a lot better, so you can AoE more and get higher stacks. This guy drops the Biz for Destruction and back. Gorefiend. This boss you can use Shadow. You can use every spec here actually. On Mythic there's a lot of ads which needs to be killed, and thus destruction being really good because you can shadow burn a lot of them. But Affliction really shines during the Feast of Souls phase, where you can basically have permanent haunt up. And especially if you have a hero and you have a Dark Soul up and running, you will easily pull big DPS on it. And for Kilrogg and Gorefiend you want to use the same talents as most other bosses, Sacrifice and Soul Burn Haunt. And for destruction wise it's Sacrifice and Shard Remains. This will be for destruction, this will always be the same. And for Affliction there's only one boss, and that's for Hellfire High Council, and that's the only reason you want to use Supremacies on that boss. And there's also one more boss actually, and that's Mannoroth. And there you might want to consider Imp, but usually you just go Sacrifice Soulburn. Shadow Lord Iskar. This boss is really well designed for destruction, because you can easily AoE all the ads with the Chaos Bolts and also Shadow Burning. Afflictions could play it, it's not really that good. Again, the same. He drops his trinket, it could be useful. If you don't have anything else, it gives a high amount of intellect. But if you have, if you either have the Shadow Moon Insignia or the Piston, it's not going to be better. Socrethar. This boss is easily a destruction fight, considering the amount of ads and the amount of cleave you can do with Havoc. And the ad is not alive for long enough for Affliction to be worth it. So here it's easily a destruction fight or demo fight, but demo usually don't run demo in this tier. And when it comes to the hands, it's Biss easily. The ring is Biss, I believe, for destruction and actually Affliction too, because it gives you haste. Fel Lord. Here you can use every spec, it's all viable. Although I personally tend to use Affliction here, but destruction also is viable. It's just what you feel the most comfort in, and I feel I'm performing the best while in Affliction. The back is best in slot for Affliction, and the belt is best in slot for every spec. Xhul'horac. This boss is really good with destruction and demo, but usually don't have demo as I said before. Destruction is just really good because you can easily cleave down all of the ads with the Shard Remains, Chaos Bolts. And if you want to, you could also of course Shadow Burn them all. Demo could usually use the Cataclysm here and cleave them down with your Hand of Gul'dans and etc. Want to use Felguard here for easily cleave. This guy drops Neck, which is best in slot. The shoulder pads, which is Biss. And the staffs is really good if you get it Warforged. Gives you a hell of a lot of spell power, which is always good. Tyrant. I want to use Affliction here. Usually it's two boss cleave fights for the most part of the fight, which means Affliction is really standing out and probably performing better than Destruction. But they're about the same level, so Destruction or Affliction, and Demo is actually also viable. So every three specs are viable here, but I prefer myself to use Affliction because it's most fun in my opinion. I tried the Destruction once and it's kind of hard to get Chaos Bolts off in the last phase, but Affliction you could just start and run, so that was nice. Best in slot here is the belt for Destruction. Might be Affliction too, I'm not sure about that though. And the ring, the finger is Biss for sure. Mannoroth. This guy, demo all the way. At least on Mythic, demo all the way. There's so many ads that you need to cleave down, and destruction, this demo is just the best on doing so. And you actually want to use your tier 17 here to get that extra Hand of Gul'dan charge. But other than that, on Heroic, Even on Mythic, really, you could use Affliction, unless it's a progress fight. But if your guild is really nice and into it, you should probably use Destruction, Affliction, or Demo. But for progression, I would recommend using Demo. But after you kill it a couple of times, Affliction is totally fine. If your guild comp actually supports it, that is. Best in slot here is the chest. And I actually believe it's the legs too, but don't quote me on that. The trinket doesn't at all work with Affliction. It only works with Destro, because your direct spell damage, it doesn't at all work with Affliction. However, it works with Destruction and Demo. Archimonde. Mythic wise, we don't really know all that much, because I haven't killed him. And the hell of a lot of other guilds hasn't killed him either. But I know that I saw on the streams that people were using Affliction on him. They were streaming right before they were going to the boss, and they were using Affliction at that point. But it's anyone's guess really so far. But when it comes to heroic, you can use Affliction. Affliction, Destruction, both works really well. You can cleave a lot with Destruction, and there's some ads that stay up a lot, so Affliction isn't too bad either. The Fragment is Biz for Destruction, but it's not Biz for Affliction. It's really bad for Affliction. The Shoulders are Biz for Affliction, which means the shoulder pads from Soul isn't Biz, which puts the chest. I don't even know where the chest drops from. I should probably have looked this up way earlier. Gorefiend. The legs are Biz from Gorefiend. Because the off piece is Shoulders. The staff will always be Biz, just because it has a lot higher spell damage, or spell power, sorry. It has haste, it has mastery. All of those three stats are amazing, and spell power ranks the highest overall. This staff will always be best in slot for almost every caster, just because it gives you the most spell power. And again, spell power is valued a lot higher. Overall, in Hellfire Citadel, Warlocks certainly have their spots. We shine really well, especially in Archimonde. If you're assigned to the Shadow Beast duty, you can easily use Cleave with Chaos Bolts. Other than that, we're not terrible. We're not godlike either. But I'd say we have our spot, and if you don't have a spot, we would have a spot anyway, because we are this, portable summoning stone. And also, it's really useful to have Soulstone available every now and then if you're wipe. How high would I rank this tier? It's probably a second favorite tier, actually. Has some really amazing bosses, and I would rank it after Iskar and Citadel. So that takes the second spot in my list. Again, thanks for watching. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask. I will be streaming my progression through Mythic on my Twitch, which I will link down in the description. That's about it. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.